everyone, this is the Free American Press with your host Alexander Horat. Today I'm going to be entitling this video "Look Away," but before I get into it, if you could please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video, that would be really appreciated. So I'm going to share the screen to show you what I'm talking about. So the media wants you to look away, sleepwalking into a China social credit system. So I really like this article by the Washington Times. So while the world fixates on the Russia's invasion of Ukraine, a huge threat is gathering here at home. As Canada demonstrated, Western governments and tech companies are mobilizing to cut off mainstream citizens from public life and constrain their private lives. Actions like protesting government overreach, expressing anti-authority ideologies, or even sharing disinformation on social media may now be classified as terrorism. So this is typical of all totalitarian regimes, which aim to bring all aspects of society under control of an ideology. So this is pretty crazy, everybody. This is what's going on. You know, while people were trying to stand up against these tyrannical COVID measures and these mandates, basically they switched the narrative. They switched the narrative to a Ukrainian war, and that was a really good way for them to take away, the freedoms. Basically, right now, like Canada is being shown as one of the leaders of the free world, like Trudeau and everything. But honestly, the Canadians are probably less free than the Russians are, or at least to some extent, basically because they arrested people for protesting the government. They arrested them, they trampled them with horses. There was actually a lady that was killed, I believe, at that protest in Ottawa. And basically, they're just making a Chinese international surveillance state. And it's basically, crazy. Now they switched our attention to a war. The media switched our attention while the people were actually trying to stand up. There was actually protests going on in Canada, France, Paris. This became international overnight. People were tired of this. Now there's actually a freedom convoy in going to Washington, D.C., and the media is hardly covering it at all because they're all covering this Ukrainian war. This was the quickest they ever changed the narrative, and that's what they did. They changed the narrative super quick because they don't want the people to start standing up for their rights. And in Canada, they arrested those people. Those people are going to stay and rot in prison, unfortunately, and that's a really sad thing. And at the same time, they're actually putting in the vaccine passport, as they say that they're starting to get rid of these mandates and stuff. But basically, right now, they're having a vaccine passport. They're going through the airports. They haven't got rid of these muzzle requirements for the airplanes or anything yet. So they're basically making it harder for you to travel. And that's all part of the social credit system, everybody. That's why gasoline is going so much higher. They don't want you to travel. They don't want you to have independence. They don't want you to have freedom. That's why they want you to all buy newer cars, new Teslas and stuff, because they all have trackers in them. That's one major reason why they want you to move to electricity, is because no one used electricity cars for the last, 10 years or so. And now they want you to buy all these new cars with trackers in them and everything else. And it's just completely crazy, the social credit system. They're basically banning people. Facebook and all these different companies, they're just completely evil. They're wrong. They're basically working in conjunction with the government. I think the government actually created a lot of these companies like Google, Twitter, and Facebook. They actually give them a lot of tax write-offs and stuff, and basically let them get a monopoly. And that's actually, what went on. They froze the assets of the protesters in Canada. They'll probably try to do this again, with the banking system and everything else. And this is another reason why we should all have hard cash. And, people should be completely outraged at this. What we really should be worried about, right now is the freedoms going away in our own country, in Canada and the United States, and even in Russia as well. They're basically putting martial law in Russia right now. Pretty much we have bad government all the way around. And I think they're all working in conjunction together with this whole basically, war, basically to possibly lower the human population like the elites and these big evil groups want. And also basically just to take away our freedoms and everything else. Completely crazy. This is completely crazy where they can just steal people's assets. That's what went on, everybody. That's social credit system right there. If they don't like what you're doing, they steal all your money, steal all your assets. And nobody's even talking about this anymore, but this happened only about a week ago. And even a person who had contributed but $5 to Truckers Fund, who never set foot near the protests and was never formally accused of a crime, would be fair game in the government's eyes for being removed from Canadian society, unable to use their bank cards or be insured or even get cash from their own accounts. So this is completely crazy, everybody. We're living under a communist police state. It's time for the people to rise up against these oppressors, against these evil government. It's time to get them out of office. It's time to do something very, very big to take our freedoms back. And I think it's time. We're seeing what's going on. They move the narrative. They change to Russia so they can take away our freedoms at home. And even, Russia's using this war to take away, Russians' freedoms as well. And I think they're probably going to make this war even bigger. They're probably going to make it a nuclear war or something. And it's just crazy how these, elites are basically stealing everything. Basically what they did during the pandemic, they stole everything. The elites got richer and richer. Elon Musk got richer. The Bill Gates of the world got richer. This Jeff Bezos got richer. And everybody, this has nothing to do with political parties or anything. This just has to do with common sense. People from either political parties should see what's going on. And the same thing is happening right now during this organized, crime and everything that's going on right now. Basically, we see that now oil is going up. The big oil monopolies of the world are going up in price. Food prices are going up. And Russia doesn't even supply any food to the United States hardly. Actually, Russia doesn't supply any food to the United States. If it does, it's very little, because the United States actually exports food, so food shouldn't be going up at all. And even gasoline and stuff, Russia only provides 7% of the US gasoline. So it's basically they're gouging people, and it's completely crazy. Even compared to the inflation rate, it's completely crazy because they're just gouging people at this point, just wanting to make more money. The rich are becoming richer and the poor are becoming poorer. So this is one big piece of advice for everybody: is do not support a political candidate if they take money from big corporations or lobbyists, as a rule of thumb. Don't do it, because if they do that, they're 100% for sure going to be a bad politician. They're already bought off before they even entered office, so they're no good. And even highly scrutinize someone who hasn't took money from them as well, but at least you know that they're probably going to represent you and not their corporate masters or their lobbyist masters. So it's time for us to stand up for freedom, get out of these, just stand up for freedom is really what needs to happen. People need to run for local office. We need to basically take our country back. And I just really appreciate anybody who watched this video. And I hope you can please share this with your friends so everybody can hear what's going on. And if you would like to support me while you still can on the PayPal fundraiser I made, that'll be really appreciated. By donating, you're helping me continue and getting the word out on how our freedoms are being taken away and how we can stop that. And I really thank you for your support. And a big thank you to the 3 people who have already donated. I really appreciate you guys doing that. And if you would like to follow me on my other social media, such as Gab, Parlar, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Minds.com, and all my other social media platforms, I'll be really appreciated. I just hope you all have a good day, and God bless, and thanks very much.